Hey guys, so today I'm just following up on a question that I had regarding the 80-20 rule when it comes to running, specifically when it comes to running shorter distances and whether or not it's something that could be applied. Now, if you've not come across this protocol before, the principle is fairly straightforward. It's essentially 80% of your runs are easy and 20% of your runs or running is hard enough to get sort of maximum benefit from training overall. This really is a sort of tried and trusted method. There's been plenty of studies undertaken in recent years, and one particular one which I thought was quite useful for these shorter distances was looking at a group of 10k runners. And there were improvements of around 5% over 3.5% for the 80-20 rule compared to a 50-50 split of easy to hard running. That's the equivalent of like 35 seconds for those runners, so it's actually quite a substantial difference. So we know it works. I would definitely recommend looking at adapting your training regardless of the distance that you're sort of focusing on. And if you've got some experience and some background in running, I think when you're just starting out, particularly if you're sort of at the kind of couch to 5k level, just focus on getting your runs done. You'll see significant improvements just from being consistent. So anyway, going back to it, how you set up your training to sort of achieve the split is going to be down to you and what you're currently doing. As ever, it's something that you can kind of play around with, or you could potentially look into getting kind of a specific bespoke training plan to set you up for that. But you could look at it, if you're doing 1.5 hour run a week, then it's fairly straightforward. 24 minutes of that run's going to be nice and easy, and the 6 minutes within that are going to be really hard and really challenging. So just apply that throughout a week or throughout a month. The next and probably most fundamental point is focused on pacing. And honestly, I think this is why it can feel like when you're trying to apply the principle of 80-20, it can feel like you're not making any progress or potentially you're going backwards. The slow runs have to be slow, as in super, super slow. To give you an example, in the professional world, athletes that are doing sort of your marathon distances at 2 hours and are regularly banging out, 5 minute and under miles, they're doing their slow miles in training at sort of between 8 and 9 minutes per mile. Now for me, 8 and 9 minutes actually quite challenging, and I suspect for the majority of us it is. So think about how easy that's going to feel for them, and then adapt that to where you are right now and what a hard mile is, and think about how ridiculously easy that should feel. If you're into heart rate zones and that kind of thing as a guide, then you're looking at zone 1 or 2, particularly at the lower end of 2. But just being really simple with it, the pace should be where you can have a conversation, normal conversation whilst you're running. So it's quite a hard one to get, and it's particularly in terms of your ego, to be quite honest with you. It's going to feel slow. It 100% will feel slow, but you're going to be getting all of the benefits of running whilst not being at a high enough intensity. It's going to cause damage to your body. Then when you need to run hard, and I mean hard, you're going to be fresh enough to actually be able to do a hard session. And I think that's the difficulty. We do our easy runs too hard, and our hard runs then can't be hard enough, and they become too easy, and we end up right in between the two things at all points, and we don't make progress. It is hard to get things right, as I say, but you just got to kind of keep chipping away. You're going to see those benefits really, really quickly if you're getting the protocol right. The last thing I would touch on is, particularly when science and studies are sort of done with this kind of stuff, averages can be used. So I think the 80-20 rule could potentially be tweaked slightly to a preference, and you could find actually that an 85-15 split is really good for you, or a 75-25% split is really good for you, or it could be 1 week you're getting a benefit of this and that, and so on and so forth. It is something to play around with, but try to be in that area. 80-20 is absolutely bang on. Hopefully that helps. If you've got any more questions on that or anything else, just give me a shout. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon.